Hello, my name is Bailey and I'm currently converting an ambulance into a camper van. Alex and I recently went to Watsonville for his grandparents' anniversary, and it was our first time sleeping in the ambulance, and we put a temporary bed frame in beforehand, and I wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys. Before that though, I wanted to warn you guys about two things. One, I didn't have my mics at the time of recording any of the footage I recorded on the trip, and two, I also didn't record a lot of footage on the trip, so you'll have to bear with me. I'll show you guys a couple pictures. I also didn't take a lot of pictures, but I'll show you some pictures and you'll just have to bear with me for the audio for the clips that I took back then. So yeah, I hope you enjoy! Chapter 1. Bed frame, etc. Today we are working on putting the bed frame in. I bought a mattress yesterday, and I have these curtains that I made out of some old t-shirts that I'm going to put on all the windows in here so it will be darker and people can't see in. And I also have this mosquito net mesh that I'm going to put on the back doors with these magnets, these little magnets that I have. And that's what we're doing today.
Alex mostly put the bed frame together while I worked on the mosquito net. We parked in the Lowe's parking lot and took frequent breaks because this was in the beginning of July, so it was super hot outside and I had gotten heat stroke about a month earlier. More on that in a later video. For the bed frame, there were several modifications to be done. The legs on the two front corners had to be removed, the two middle legs had to be shimmed to be a little taller, and the legs on the back corners had to be elongated to reach the floor and the cavity where the exterior cabinets used to be. The frame ended up turning out really well in the end, and I love how it looks. We didn't permanently attach the slats yet, just because we were going to be adding floor under it and walls around it. I know this is going to be annoying, and it was, since the slats are probably going to fall every once in a while, and they did. But that is a small price to pay for a whole bed setup in the ambulance. The mosquito net I'm putting up is attached with super glue to magnets, and I also super glued magnets to the outside of the door frame where they would not be damaged when the doors closed. The door frames really like to stick to the super glue, but unfortunately the mosquito net did not want to stick to it. So I will eventually be sewing 2 squares of fabric with a magnet between them for every magnet on it. That will come when I have a bit more free time to do it, since it will take a while to hand sew all of that. I used more magnets on the net than I thought I would to get a good seal, but it was definitely worth it. I'm super excited to have a mosquito net and just to keep all the bugs out. Before we were here today, I cut up some of my dad's old t-shirts to use as temporary curtains before we get nicer ones, and I planned on attaching these with the magnets as well, but used most of my magnets as stated. I only had enough to barely attach the curtain for the man door, so it really just turned out to be proof of concept because it would fall off pretty easily. On top of that, the man door had the only window that was slightly bigger than the t-shirts, but it is good enough for now. The super glue also didn't like the t-shirt material, but that's nothing a little sewing couldn't fix as well.
We have finished the bed frame, and we got a mattress. We have some bedding and stuff, and we are going on a trip. Don't look at that. I made the mosquito net, and I also made one of the curtains for the doors, but not the rest of them because I ran out of magnets. And I tried to get some more magnets, but they didn't come in time, so oh well. We do have a bed though, and I brought my toilet, and I'll show you guys the finished setup when we're there.
Chapter 2. On the way to Watsonville. We started out very early in the morning, since our AC still wasn't working, unfortunately. We had a rather uneventful drive, thankfully, but did make a lovely stop at the California Fruit Depot in Bakersfield to buy some lemon cream almonds and dried fruit. If you've never been, I highly suggest it. They specialize in oranges and dates and probably have over 100 different things in the store, including candies and dried fruit, all of which have samples available, which is one of my favorite parts. They also have the best employees, including the manager, Sully, who remembered us from the first time we swung by 11 months ago. We were so surprised he remembered us. We got to show them this ambulance, which was super fun, then resumed our trip while hoping to return on the way home.
We got to the farm in Watsonville right before sunset, and we had hot dogs with family, and I got to meet lots of new people as more people arrived. It was a very good night and only a little bit chilly. A lot of bit chilly outside, but a little chilly inside. It got down to like the high 40s, but we were snug as a bug inside. It was a very good night, and we were pretty cozy inside, and I was very happy with that because I figured we might be a little cold because it was going to be pretty cold up there and the insulation wasn't finished in the ambulance yet. But we brought enough everything, blankets and stuff, and we were pretty warm, so I was happy with that.
Chapter 3. Rodeo Day.
We woke up the next day to beautiful scenery around the ambulance, and we had a very nice camping breakfast of bagels and pie. Pretty much everyone was planning on going to the Salinas Rodeo, and we were happily invited and happily accepted. It was, in fact, my first rodeo, and it turned out to be a really good time.
There was every single rodeo event I could think of, and many more I wouldn't have thought of. We also had an amazing baked potato with carne asada and lots of other toppings. At the very end, they put on the best fireworks show I have ever seen. I really hope to be able to come back next year. It was also, predictably, the most patriotic and American I have ever felt. There was also a motorcycle show near the end of the show, and that was really cool. I haven't ever really seen anything like that in person so close up before. And there was a lot of barrel riding and mutton busting, and the whole thing was a whole lot of fun.
We had another lovely night in the ambulance, very cozy together, even though it was pretty chilly outside. I feel a little bit silly giving you guys all this information after the fact with no video to say anything about it, because past me did not have the foresight to make it easy on current me to make this video, but oh well. I promise I've been recording more cohesive videos since then. So you have that to look forward to. Chapter 4, Horses and Fruit. I have no footage from this day, unfortunately, but I did want to show you guys a couple photos. We didn't really do anything eventful this day, but we did meet a couple horses. Here's me meeting a horse. And we got to pick some beautiful blueberries that were very red and yellow in color. I did a little bit of research, and they do look a little bit like red huckleberries because those can look like blueberries, but they did taste really similar to blueberries, so I think they were blueberries. I thought they were so beautiful, which will be a recurring theme during this trip. Anyways, that's it. Chapter 5, Anniversary Time. We were about to have a really busy day today. I had some more beautifully colored blueberries in the morning, and Alex made a very nice camping breakfast. We then went to church, and it was my first time being in a Catholic church, and it was very nice. The church was really beautiful, and the mass was very good as well, and I had a good time doing that. After that, we went to a community center where we had lunch, and it was the anniversary party for Alex's grandparents. They had these sandwiches that had a lot of sprouts on them, which were very interesting, and also we ate yellow raspberries, which I had never had before. Mine were a little more tart than regular raspberries. I did some research afterwards, and it said that most yellow raspberries are sweeter than normal raspberries, but these were not. So I don't know if they were different, but that's just how they were. I've really never seen anything like them before. Most of the family then moved to Alex's grandparents' house, and I got to pick some fruit from their backyard. Here it is. I got an apricot and 2 plums of varying ripenesses. I also saw this flower, which is a passion flower. It is not related to a passion fruit, and it does fruit, but they are unpalatable. They are bitter and sour and not good to eat. It also has some healing properties, which is pretty cool. They use it in South America a lot. And at the end of the night, we went to get some ice cream at Marianne's in Santa Cruz with some of Alex's cousins, and that was a lot of fun. They have so many kinds of different ice cream, and every single one that I tried was really good. And also, when I was younger, I never really hung out with my cousins very much, so while we were all hanging out, because there's a lot of cousins that Alex has, it really felt like one big happy family, and that felt really nice too. Chapter 6, Aquarium. We decided to stay one final day and go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. It is probably my second favorite aquarium after the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California, because they have a touch tank for moon jellyfish, which do sting, but so mildly that humans usually cannot feel it at all, which is definitely my favorite thing at an aquarium. And I haven't found any that have the same thing yet. The aquarium would take up most of our time for the day, so we spent some time having breakfast and then packing up the ambulance, and then we were off. I really should have brought my camera to the aquarium, or at least to record the walk from where we park to the aquarium, because it was all really beautiful, and aquariums are probably my favorite place, one of my favorite places at least, but I did get some pictures. First we got some food. We tried to go to a Japanese place on the way to get some sushi, but they were temporarily closed when we showed up. But there was a Thai place right next door that was open and looked really good. I got some Thai tea, which was really good. Here's a picture. It's the only picture I took there. And we got some crab rangoons and green curry to share, and it was really good. There were so many cool animals at the aquarium, and there were a couple touch tanks as well, which is probably my favorite part. My favorite animal at the aquarium was probably the comb jellyfish. It's the only picture I took at the aquarium. I learned a couple things about them. There are the biggest animal to swim with cilia, which is the combs on them. They can be a few millimeters to 5 feet in length, which is pretty crazy. That's a pretty crazy range. There are 186 species of comb jellyfish that we have found. They can live in almost any climate in the ocean. They can live from -2 degrees Celsius to +30 degrees Celsius, and they can live anywhere from the surface to about 4 miles deep. The ones that we saw were pretty deep, a couple thousand feet deep, so you probably wouldn't be seeing those. But I think that's really cool that you can see them anywhere you are in the ocean, basically, and I hope to see some in the wild someday. They were pretty cool. We stayed until the aquarium closed, and then we went back to the farm to have a pretty chill night and pack up a little before we left early the next morning. Chapter 7. Going home. We again left early in the morning to beat the heat, and one of the only stops we made was at the California Fruit Depot in Bakersfield again. We got some more lemon cream almonds, which are my favorite, and I will make sure to take some video here next time we swing by because I would love to share this place with more people. The rest of our drive was thankfully uneventful. Here is what the ambulance looks like after we unpacked. I can promise it looked much worse while we were staying in it. But with every trip we take, it's going to get better. And it is a lot of work to unpack and repack the ambulance every time, but eventually when it's more built out and we have places for our clothes and a stove and the toilet is in there permanently, it is going to be a lot less work than it is right now. Chapter 8. The end. This really was an amazing trip, and I'm so happy to have gone on it. The anniversary was a lot of fun, and it was so much fun to meet a whole bunch of Alex's extended family too. I really want to go back and hopefully take a better video for you guys. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can subscribe if you like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!